Somebody out there just realized that they've been taking advice from people who are living absolute miserable fucking lives, who hate everything in their life, who don't like the people they spend time with, who don't like their job, they don't like the place they live, they don't like the car they drive, they don't like their wife, they don't like their kids, they don't like anything. And yet, they're going to be the ones who are telling you what you're doing is crazy when you decide to follow your heart. Whether it's you want to live in a van, or you want to go to art school, or you want to, please go to art school. Don't commit a genocide. Just go to art school, man. And if you don't get in, just paint anyway, okay? I mean, come on, dude. Just make the paintings. You don't need to get into the art school, all right? You don't need to, just because you don't get into the art school doesn't mean, anyway, it's fine. It's okay. Water under the bridge. That's a really odd statement to say about. Anyways, anyway. You're taking advice from people. You're taking advice from people like that, bro. People who have spent their lives in a state of cowardice. They are frozen by fear and looking around and, oh, what are these people going to think? And, oh, looking up to the authority figures and, oh gosh, I hope they keep feeding me. I hope they keep allowing me to exist. And I hope I don't offend them or upset them. And they might not allow me to exist anymore. Bitch, you have the right to exist. You've had the right to exist since you were fucking born, since before you were born, okay? All right? And you got more right to exist than any of these fucking pretenders up here in the Epstein class who are looking down on you and pretending like, we're just the elite, we're better educated and we're just more capable, and that's why we have all this stuff. It's not because we're satanic you're not supposed to say that word on here, but satanic pedophiles who are like running everything. They're running everything, okay? And I know I keep saying this, but dude, why the fuck would you listen to any of these old, like, traditional ways of thinking, these modes of perceiving reality, when, like, the whole concept is being generated by these kinds of people, And so these are the, like, authority figures who create the conditioning, and then you grow up in the conditioning and you feel something in you that's like, this is wrong, this isn't right. But all the institutions have been captured by these, like, psychos. And so all the media you see, everybody, like, who gets to any position of power is kind of, they are allowed to have their individual personal differences, but when it comes down to, like, the material substrate of power, they don't confront it. Like, they're not going to confront, like, the central banks and Wall Street guys and, like, the people who really, like, old money families. The people who really run the world, they're not going to get confronted by our governments, because our governments exist to give us this illusion that we have freedom of choice, in the words of George Carlin. But we don't. We have owners, as he said. They want you to think they own you, all right? But in their system, yeah, they own everything. They own all the important land. Like, this is all George Carlin's bit. They own all the judges. They own the politicians. It's like bought and paid for. But where he where he fell short was in thinking that just because they have co-opted and corrupted every aspect of hierarchical government, that somehow we are going to be deprived of our ability to be free. But these institutions, these ideas only have as much power as we, the people, believe they have. And so for you, your job, your task, if you have been given this desire in your heart for more from the universe, this thing in you that looks around and says, this is not it. This shit that's going on in the world today is not it. And I won't be part of it, okay? I won't be part of it. And it's not about going to protests and stuff. That can be good. You can donate to the right politicians, sure. What I'm talking about is direct action. And I mean direct action that you can take right now in your own life, within yourself, within your being, within the relationships in your life. Kindness, compassion, where necessary, boundaries, truth-telling. Sometimes you got to be a little bit of a savage, because honestly, to not tell someone the truth about how their behavior is harming you is selfish. You're being a martyr. You care more about whether that person likes you than you do about whether that person actually develops spiritually. Okay? So your task as a spiritual person, as a person who wants better for the world, I shouldn't even say spiritual, but a person who wants the world to be a better place, is to be a better person, is to make your world a better place. And it's cliche to say that. It's like a tossed around platitude, but I'm saying in the most literal sense, okay? If you consider reality to be quantum in nature, okay? The observer effect sort of says, and I'm going to probably butcher this, but it says essentially that consciousness or reality exists in the waveform. Electrons specifically exist in a waveform, okay, until they're interacted with by a photon or they are observed. So they are a wave, and then when the photon interacts with it or the observer interacts with this wave of infinite potentiality that's existing in a dual state of polarity, which is positive and negative, or both, but also neither, very paradoxical and confusing, but it's and then the observer, i.e. conscious awareness, you, okay, your unique signature, vibratory signature, is what causes that wave function to collapse into a point. Okay? So, if consciousness or reality is the collapsing wave function after it's observed by an observer, all right? So, the substrate of infinite reality, nothingness, essentially, is created into something by that which is viewing it. Now, if that is true, which I believe it is, you, through contemplative practice, through psychedelics, through just being a good human being, just being honest about yourself and who you are and your shadows, doing your shadow work, that will create within you a more coherent vibratory signature, which will then in turn cause more positive or coherent possibilities, potentialities, to be collapsed from the field of infinity, to be collapsed from the infinite quantum field of potential. Okay? So the reason that you pray and the reason that you follow your heart and the reason that you be a good person is not because it's like the right thing to do and there's like a set of rules that you have to follow these rules, and if you don't follow these rules, you'll get in trouble. No, the reason you do this stuff is because it produces actual results in your life. It will cause higher, better realities to collapse into experience for you as you go along this path. Now, it's not an easy thing, all right, to ascend the spiral, as it were, but it is the only thing that's worth doing. And it is the reason why you've got to stop listening to people who are determined to stop you from going along your spiral. Sometimes, those people are actually the thing that helps you move up along your spiral. Especially for an empath, the people who are kind of taking advantage of your energy, both they and you will grow immensely and become so much freer and so much happier when you, the empathic person, learn to set boundaries with the people who are determined to stop you from following your dreams because they didn't follow theirs. Okay? They are set on collapsing negative potentiality. And the reason for that, I don't know. Maybe their soul wants to experience it. Maybe they had some sort of erroneous practices in earlier lives or incarnations. I can't speak to the validity of any of that. I don't know if any of that's true. It sounds good. It sounds like it might be true, but I don't know that. What I do know is that in my own life, when I set those boundaries and stopped listening to those people, my life became infinitely better. And the possibilities that are collapsing down into reality for me out of the field now, after I did that inner work, are incredible. So I'm speaking to you from a sense of lived experience. I'm not a guru. I'm not a preacher, all right? I mean, I'll preach at you, but I don't consider myself a pastor. I'm not sitting up on a pulpit, standing up over telling people things. I am just somebody who, frankly, is a little bit nuts and has just gone like very, 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 very deep into the process of inner transformation. And I now am seeing in real time the results of this inner transformation. And it all comes from this following one's heart, following the greater instinct towards the higher, the instinct towards the sacred, the instinct towards oneness, the one-hearted way in the Hopi prophecy, okay? You know, be a rainbow warrior, man. All right? And I don't know if I should, but I'm gonna close on this note. Fuck anybody who tries to stop you. Give them one of these from me, okay? Mwah. And after you do that, give them one of those, okay? If you know, you know. I love you so much. Mwah.